back to See You in the AM. Great to be with you. Again, I am hoping that people are really getting out of this program what is intended, which is not just to hear some nice ideas, but to apply what it is we're talking about. Because again, as I've talked about many times before, but I always want to reiterate and remind us of, we can learn anything in the world, but if we are not applying what we're learning, are we really even learning? We're just acquiring knowledge then, as opposed to the doing side. So I'm saying this for a very specific reason. Because we talked on Monday, and we're going to continue talking today about persistence. And persistence is one of the most important pieces of the puzzle. When you talk about the different ingredients that make up a closer. As I said on the Monday section, that when I'm asked, what are the critical traits of a closer, this is always on my list, to consistently be persistent. Now, why is it so important? We talked about the statistics of that on Monday. We talked about, obviously, that it is the essence of being a closer is continuing to move past the hurdles and not be frustrated by them, not be turned off by the no's, but rather just viewing that as a challenge. As we talked about on Monday, a challenge to, okay, well, what is this objection that we're getting? Why are they saying no? What is holding this person back from getting to a yes? And when we're working to identify that, and then obviously a solution to that, we're working in a positive direction. And again, the most important piece of that, which is one of the things I want to focus on today, is the connection between belief and persistence. I mentioned on Monday, and again also the previous week, we talked about belief, believing in what we sell, believing in our product and our service. Again, they are directly connected. Why? Because belief to me is the doorway to persistence. Without belief, it's almost impossible to be persistent. Because again, if you don't believe in what you're selling, then you're more likely to just move on and say, okay, you know what, maybe they don't need it. Maybe whatever reason they're saying no, they don't have the money, they can't afford it, the terms are not agreeable, etc. Okay, maybe they're telling the truth, But if you believe in what you're selling, not just believe in it, but it is an awesome product, an awesome service, and it's meeting the prospect's needs, meaning that we understand their needs first, then you would never quit on them. Because again, that's exactly what you're doing. You're not just quitting on yourself, you're quitting on them. As I mentioned on Monday, it's their job to say no. Imagine, put yourself in the shoes of a buyer, a prospect. And, if you're selling in B2B, or if you're selling even in B2C, we're all bombarded with people trying to sell us things. Whether people are calling us on the phone, or engaging us in different ways, whether it's online, we're constantly being asked to make buying or purchasing decisions. So imagine if that person just bought everything that was presented to them. You'd be broke. If you're in business, you'd be out of business. And you'd have just a lot of junk that's sitting in a closet versus having success. So it is our job as the buyer to say no and make sure that when we're making a buying decision that it's something that does in fact meet our needs. We're not just buying off of hype or pressure, etc., but we're buying for a legitimate reason. So it's understanding that helps us to understand why we need to be so persistent. Because again, it's their job to say no. It's not they're not liking us. It's not they don't like our product. It's not they don't like our service. It's they're just doing their job. Our job is to help understand why they're saying no, understand those pain points, understand what's going to motivate them to say yes, because we're understanding their needs and how we're meeting it. So it shouldn't be anything frustrating to us. It's something that is, as we said, a hurdle. It's just it's a speed bump in the way, and we should continue to work to go around it or over it, depending on whatever is necessary. Now, again, if you truly believe in what you're selling, to me, it would be a contradiction to accept no. Because again, if I know my product, no, not N-O, but K-N-O-W, my product is the number one thing for this person to meet their needs, I would be a walking, talking contradiction to say, okay, I'll accept whatever excuse you're giving me and walk away without a yes. Because if you know it meets their needs, you're lying by saying, I'll accept your no. So again, it's so imperative that we understand these concepts and we continue to be persistent. We continue to push on. There is very rarely a time where you should ever, in my opinion, walk away from a sale presentation without a yes answer. If you are giving up on it, you're giving up on your opportunities. There are many statistics that people teach. Brian Tracy teaches a concept called saving the lost sale, which is dealing with before you walk away, at least trying something. Why? Because he terms it the lost sale. The majority of time, I mean, if you're even getting back 20% of the people that you engaged with and get them back engaged, that is a high statistic. Most people, when they walk away, they walk away. You had your opportunity. Take advantage of that opportunity. What's the worst thing? Are they going to hate you for being persistent, for being passionate? Of course not. They might get frustrated because you're not accepting their answer. But if you believe in what you're selling, there's never a reason to accept their answer because you know they need it. It's your job to convince them of such. Remember, quitting is for losers. We're talking about the mentality of a closer. Closers, we never give up. We are persistent to a fault. I would much rather be persistent with everybody I speak to than take the chance for the one person that maybe 1 out of the 20 that are going to come back and maybe make a deal with them. I would rather take my risks with the other 19 out of 20, being persistent and knowing that I'm going to close a certain percentage of those, and that's where you develop a closing ratio and you have success on a consistent basis. Now, we're going to just end with a quote today. Again, it's gotten a little lengthy in our discussion about persistence, but I wanted to wrap it up and not bring it into Friday. Friday we'll be tackling a new topic. But again, let's get out there and be persistent today. Let's make this go to work for us. Let's own persistence. And through doing so, you will own your results. Now, the quote I want is from Walt Disney. It's a great short quote, but one that is very impactful for what we're talking about now. And he says, the difference between winning and losing is most often not quitting. Think of almost anyone successful in the world, whether it's the Thomas Edisons, whether it's Abraham Lincoln, Michael Jordan, many examples throughout the history of the world. And there's not a successful person that was a quitter. They all encountered struggles and they all persevered on, pushed on, and as a result of it, were known for their incredible success. So let's be successful. Let's do the things that make us successful and apply this into our calls, into our meetings today, and have an awesome day, a successful day. And I'll look forward to tomorrow where we're going to be answering questions again. I'll be getting some great questions. I'll try to choose just one that we're going to focus on. But other than that, keep sending them over, and I'm here to help you out as much as possible. Have a great day, a successful day, and I'll see you tomorrow in the AM.